dissolve into darkness.
It still haunts me whenever I tell the following story, but God's given me the responsibility to do so. Because what happened next not only saved my life, but saved the lives of 210,893 women and men around the world, and could very well save yours too. Where I stumbled upon a revolutionary morning ritual so unique it has never been made public until today. And so powerful, it's scientifically proven to target the real root cause of your slow metabolism, unexplained belly fat, and premature aging. And as you'll soon find out, it has nothing to do with prescription medicine, food restrictions, how much dieting or exercising you do, your genetics, your thyroid hormones, or even your age. This painless, easy, straightforward morning habit that you can do starting today works immediately to ignite your metabolism and burn stubborn belly fat. And after years of struggling with my weight and losing all faith, in mere weeks, this breakthrough 10-second morning release made me melt away 74 pounds of hideous fat from my face, arms, and belly, going from this to this, while supporting my healthy heart and lungs, relieving me from the aches and pain in my back, hips, and legs, bringing back my youthful energy, sex drive, and zest for life I had not seen since my college days, blowing the minds away of leading world-renowned doctors and preeminent research scientists, landing me on the covers of health magazines and interviews with national television networks like CNN, Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS, and many more. With every person struggling with stubborn fat, desperate to know my secret. And it's not just me. My wife Tammy used this morning release every day that it became second nature to her. I watched in awe as she melted away fat from the very first night like ice cream on a hot summer day. And in the weeks that followed, her confidence shattering, energy robbing, excess weight vanished as she miraculously lost 32 pounds of unsightly fat from all over her butt, arms, hips, and thighs, and regaining that lean and sexy body that she hadn't seen since her 20s. Better yet, we continued to eat our favorite foods like pizza, pasta, burgers, chocolate fudge brownies, and ice cream. I know you may be feeling skeptical, because I was too at one point, but as unbelievable as it sounds, this was all made possible because of a 10-second, easy, and safe morning habit that goes against everything every weight loss expert has ever told you about body fat. You see, these weight loss professionals want you to believe that your weight gain is your fault, that you haven't done enough, and that your body's broken. But you need to understand this: it is not your fault. You are not broken. Your body is not defective. Because in the next 2 minutes and 26 seconds, I will reveal to you the real root cause of your weak metabolism and why every obese person in America cannot lose weight no matter what they try. The real reason why it's virtually impossible for you to keep fat off your body, especially if you're over 40 years old. This truth, as proven and published by Harvard University, Journal of the American Medical Association, Journal of Applied Physiology, and the International Journal of Obesity, has been purposefully hidden by the weight loss industry, whose entire business relies on you never losing a single pound. The simplicity of this solution will surprise you. An exotic yet straightforward morning release that you can do at home starting today. To quickly fire up your slow metabolism and to stop your body from storing fat, but to burn it for pure energy. This 100% natural hack has nothing to do with fad diets, ab crunches, counting calories, gastric bypass surgery, or extreme cardio routines like CrossFit, P90X, or insanity. And it's helped me, my wife, and over 210,893 everyday women, men, mothers, fathers, and grandparents who have tried every single diet and exercise under the sun with no success, to finally take back control.
For me, it's not just about the numbers on the scale or seeing my abs. It's the way it makes me feel. Well, I mean, my heart is thriving, my lungs, they're healthy and strong, My energy level, it's skyrocketed. I used to have to take a 30-minute nap in my office over my lunch break just to get through the afternoons. But with this morning release, I'm done with afternoon slumps. I feel like I'm not missing out on life anymore. And you know the best part for me? It's being able to walk upstairs without getting out of breath. Oh, wait. Maybe it's being able to bend over to trim my toenails without having to stop to catch my breath. Yes, they sound simple, but really, for me, it's life changing.
The best feeling in the world is when you step on the scale each day and the numbers get smaller and smaller. And it was all thanks to the simple morning release. Instead of being tired and achy all the time, I now feel energized. My joints aren't stiff, but flexible. My hair's soft and shiny, and the compliments I get from friends, colleagues, and even strangers every single day is amazing. And for the first time in a long time, I have a renewed sense of confidence in myself. Best of all, I feel comfortable dressing in fashionable clothes that fit instead of hiding behind oversized sweatshirts.
Every single day, I get thousands of new success stories from people around the world who have had amazing results just like these. You may not believe me yet, but all I ask is that you watch the rest of this short video. Try this once-in-a-lifetime method for yourself today, the way I did not too long ago. Because just as I can promise that the stars will shine tomorrow, so can I promise this will work for you too. No matter if you are a male or female, 18 or 80 years old, 10 pounds or 100 pounds overweight, or been that way for 10 weeks or 10 years, or whether you've tried every single diet plan, exercise, or gym program out there, or simply worried about future health complications. You may think you've seen it all and tried it all before, but the truth is, you and your doctor simply do not know about this unconventional breakthrough. I can guarantee it. And until now, that's been the problem. It's been hidden right under our noses and kept from us by the folks we trust to make us better. In the US alone, the weight loss industry is worth $80 billion a year. And they're scared. Trust me, they do not want you to see this video because what I'm about to reveal could destroy their business model overnight. The very same cash cow that will never help you lose weight and keep it off, but to keep you a customer for life. I honestly don't know how much longer I'll be able to keep this presentation online, so hear me out, because we don't have much time. This information will save your life or the life of someone you love. Today, I'm offering you the chance to finally torch that stubborn belly fat. Just imagine no more worries about health complications, no more worries about what the public thinks about how you look, or what your husband or wife really thinks about your naked body, but doesn't have the heart to tell you. No more worries about eating out in public, or people smirking at you or judging you. Instead, you eat all your favorite foods whenever you want, however much you want, totally guilt-free. You quickly eliminate cravings and melt away pounds of unsightly fat every day like clockwork from your belly, hips, and face. You support your healthy heart, strong bones, and fertility. You lubricate your joints and burn deadly visceral fat around your organs. You slip into skin-tight, sexy clothing, the kind you've always dreamed of but never had the body for. You restore your youthful energy and vitality, renewing your skin, hair, and nails, and turbo boost your sex drive, making you look and feel decades younger. And with your healthy body comes a newly supported immune system. It's time to free yourself from the prison of belly fat once and for all. Does that sound good to you? Well, then close the door, get a pen and paper, and make sure you stick this video out until the very end, because I promise you, you can do all of this with a simple 10-second morning release that I'm about to reveal every morning before breakfast. Yes, it's really that easy. Hi, I'm Tom Goodman. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, and I did not attend Harvard University. You know who I am? I'm a regular person, probably very much like you. I'm a 44-year-old photojournalist, and I live with my wife Tammy and our 3 beautiful children in the serene, laid-back city of Santa Rosa in California. I've traveled the world and captured photos from presidential inaugurations, celebrities at the Oscars, to the world's deadliest natural disasters. I remember one time when I was in Japan covering the Great Japanese Tsunami of 2011. I saw firsthand how devastating it can be to unexpectedly lose control. Just like how a natural disaster can quickly turn on you, so can your body. And that's what happened to me. It started about 4 years ago. My wife Tammy and I were enjoying life and didn't really think twice about our health. I was one of the fittest journalists in our office. Ran marathons twice a year, had washboard abs, and not an ounce of fat on me. But right after I turned 40, I noticed my body was deteriorating. I started having immense cravings for junk food like ice cream, chips, chocolate, and all things greasy. And before I knew it, my belly was out of control and it was impossible to buckle my pants. My energy levels dropped and I'd be covered in sweat just by walking from the parking lot to the grocery store. It was terribly embarrassing, to say the least. I went to see our family doctor, who warned me that I needed to do something before the excess weight caused permanent damage to my health. But the only advice he had was, you guessed it, eat less and exercise more. And when that didn't work, I tried everything else. Paleo, keto, vegan, low carb, high carb, low fat, fasting, sleeping pills, detox cleanses, and hypnosis. I even spent thousands of our hard-earned dollars on meal deliveries, gym equipment, gym memberships, not to mention fitness classes like CrossFit, Zumba, Insanity, P90X, and more. Within 2 years, I put on a staggering 38 pounds. Within 4 years, I was 74 pounds overweight. I couldn't even bear to see myself in the mirror anymore. Every time I caught a glimpse of myself, I felt shame and guilt for letting myself go and not being able to do anything about it. You see, I know exactly what you're going through. The relentless exhaustion, the pants that don't fit, the binge eating, the scale anxiety. I get it, because I live with those feelings every single day. As my weight continued to balloon, the more depressed I became, and the further away I drifted from the man Tammy had fallen in love with. That same night, I found myself in my neighborhood church. I prayed hard and asked God for guidance, to give me a sign, to help me find something or anything at all that can make me lose weight and give me my life back. And then my phone rang. And whether it was divine intervention or pure coincidence, that telephone call would save my life. It was my editor-in-chief. He asked for me to go to the Amazon rainforest in Brazil to write a piece on the life and times of the Mayoruna tribe, a tribe that has lived in the Amazon rainforest for a few hundred years. 39 hours later, I arrived at the tribal village, deep inside the dense Amazon rainforest. When I spoke to my host Saru, whose family has lived in the Amazon rainforest for generations, she was surprised to hear that I wasn't there for scientific or medicinal research. You see, the Amazon rainforest is the most abundant greenhouse on the planet, with more than 80,000 plant species, and over 80% of them are unique to the rainforest. It is also the world's largest medicine cabinet, with around 25% of all drugs used today derived from rainforest plants. In fact, many remedies and medicines for blood sugar, heart, and pain, like aspirin and metformin, are derived from plants from the Amazon rainforest. For the first few days, I followed Saru and her family around as they went about their normal day, working their agricultural land, fishing, and hunting. As days went on, I started to realize that all the tribal members, whether they were young or old, didn't have an ounce of fat on them. They were slim, healthy, and full of energy. Yet at mealtime, they ate twice the amount of what I would normally eat back at home. And there'd be plates and plates of delicious cornmeal, roast meats, fried fish, and sweet desserts. I didn't make a note of this at first, but Saru's father would sprinkle a powdered mixture on all the food before they began eating. More on this in a few minutes. That following day, I accompanied Saru while she hunted for wild boars. I immediately regretted that decision. Just a few minutes into our trek, I was already tired from trudging through the deep, wet soil. I felt sharp pains in my chest and a tingling sensation in my left arm. So, I stopped and sat on a large tree root to rest. I begged Saru to continue on without me and to pick me up again on our way back to the village. It couldn't be more than 5 minutes after Saru had left when I heard a rustling sound in the bushes not too far behind me. I looked around but didn't see anything. Suddenly, in the corner of my eye, I saw a pair of eyes staring at me. I didn't know what it was, but I could sense that I was in danger. I got up slowly and walked backwards away from the bushes. Suddenly, a wild boar peered through the bushes. The boar started to walk slowly towards me. In a split second, I panicked, turned around and ran, as fast as I could, as hard as I could. But it didn't matter. I could hear the heavy footsteps behind me getting closer and closer. I screamed for help and shouted at the boy to leave me alone. As I continued to run, my chest felt even heavier and I struggled to breathe. And then my muscles started burning. My belly cramped. All of a sudden, I felt a searing pain in my chest. I remember grabbing my chest and then felt my feet lift off the ground. The next thing I knew, I was lying awake in my own bed back at the village, surrounded by Saru's family. There was noisy chatter among them. I turned to look for Saru to find a familiar voice and to find out what had happened. All of a sudden, I hear a familiar accent. I sat up quickly and looked to my side. A distinguished-looking man in his mid-50s was walking towards me. He introduced himself as Dr. Fred Armstrong, and he was from Los Angeles, California. He looked at me and said, "Tom, you were lucky. If I hadn't been there when Saru came back for help, and if it wasn't for my portable defibrillator," as his voice trailed off, I thought about Tammy and my children. It finally hit me that I was so close to not being able to see my children grow up or to hold Tammy in my arms again. I closed my eyes and I said a prayer to God to please send me a miracle and to help me get through this. Looking back, I knew he heard me. So listen carefully, because what happened next is the most eye-opening moment of my life and the breakthrough I needed, and something you need as well. Dr. Armstrong continued, "Look, I don't have your medical records in front of me, but it was pretty obvious that your heart can't support your weight anymore. You got really lucky this time. It was only a mild heart attack, but you won't be so lucky next time. Your heart is a ticking time bomb. Listen to me, Tom. You don't have much time. You need to lose weight, and you need to do it now." When Dr. Armstrong finished, I poured my heart out. I explained to him how I had tried every diet under the sun and virtually every fitness class out there, but nothing had worked to help me lose weight. So I begged him to help me, asked him if he knew anything that could save me. I mean, Dr. Armstrong did graduate from Harvard University Medical School, where he specialized in endocrinology. And he was one of the youngest doctors ever to receive a gold medal award from the National Academy of Sciences for his transformational contribution toward the improvement of human health. His mom had sadly passed away a few years back from complications of diabetes and heart disease that resulted from uncontrollable and unexplained weight gain. We both knew the facts. If you're overweight, you're 62% more likely to have a heart attack, 57% more likely to develop type 2 diabetes, 64% more likely to have a stroke, 81% more likely to have coronary artery disease, and 22% more likely to get Alzheimer's. And Dr. Armstrong's mom had unfortunately become part of this statistic. Dr. Armstrong continued, "Tom, the biggest reason men and women in their 30s, 40s, and even 60s don't lose weight and are storing fat is because of primal stress syndrome. Primal stress syndrome occurs when the receptors that sit on top of your fat cells tell your body to stop metabolizing fat in response to physiological stress. You see, during the caveman days, starvation and cold were the ultimate stressors. So, to ensure survival through times of hunger and cold, these fat cell receptors ensured the body put the brakes on metabolic activity and to stop burning fat for energy. By completely stopping your metabolism, energy was conserved in the form of fat cells, and it helped our ancestors survive days without food and helped them weather through cold, rough nights. As our bodies and the environment evolved through the years, food and warmth became the norm. However, these fat cell receptors did not change in their function. Instead, they have now evolved to protect the body from all forms of physiological stress, which means whether you are eating a strict, regimented diet, starving yourself, exercising excessively, or sleeping for only 6 hours a night, these stressors will put the brakes on your metabolism, causing you to accumulate more and more fat. And as you can imagine, the older you are, the greater the number of stressors you've been exposed to and have accumulated through the years, from your work, your relationships, your children, family, friends, advancement in technology, the toxic environment, the list goes on. So it really doesn't matter how much you starve yourself or exercise yourself to death. Primal stress syndrome will make absolutely sure you never lose an ounce of fat. Dr. Armstrong then excused himself and came back 5 minutes later with a folder. He handed me the folder and said to me, "Tom, everything you need is right inside this folder. 22 pages of condensed notes from my research on primal stress syndrome for the last 5 years. And then he said, at the end of my notes, there's a list of ingredients, most of which originated from the Amazon rainforest and little known back home. And if you follow the protocol that I've put together, you will lose weight. Dr. Armstrong continued, I must confess I didn't come up with the list of ingredients by myself. These ingredients are actually what make up that brown powdered mix that Saru's dad sprinkles on all the food before they eat. And every ingredient that was in the powdered mix were found to help with the inhibition of your fat cell receptors. In other words, they block the fat cell receptors from telling your body to keep storing fat, but to burn it off for pure energy. Look, you're the first person I've shown this research to. I really want you to have it, and I want you to get better. And remember, it's not going to help you much if you just take each nutrient on its own. When you combine them all at the specified quantity and take them all at the same time, this blend will work powerfully to help your body overcome primal stress syndrome. Before Dr. Armstrong left, he gave me his phone number and said to me, Tom, everything you need to know about weight loss is now in your hands. And don't forget to do it in the morning. With those parting words, Dr. Armstrong left. I couldn't sleep that night. I was shaking with excitement. My heart was pounding. I felt like I won the lottery. Could my weight gain be reversed by simply following a simple morning protocol once a day? For the next few hours, I pored over Dr. Armstrong's research. I found notes on a study conducted by doctors from the University of Glasgow in Scotland during the 1980s. In that study, participants were placed into 2 separate groups based on the number of stressors they had reported on their surveys. Both groups were fed the same high-fat, high-sugar diet. The group that had less stressors in their lives had gained only a few pounds, but the group with many stressors in their lives gained 223% more weight. Another study conducted in the 1990s by a group of doctors from the University of Bologna also concluded that participants who had less stressors in their lives gained less weight while eating a high-carb diet than their counterparts who are experiencing higher numbers of stressors in their lives. The notes on his research went on and on, every study confirming the effects of how primal stress syndrome was the reason why your metabolism comes to a halt. Then finally, I came to Dr. Armstrong's notes on the list of ingredients in the exact quantity that made up the brown powdered mix. Not surprisingly, they are all unique to the Amazon rainforest. First, there's something called Royal Sun Agaricus, an incredible anti-inflammatory superfood that's full of antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals like calcium, iron, magnesium, and zinc. Royal Sun Agaricus not only supports a healthy immune system, but also good cholesterol levels. It also inhibits dangerous free radicals by as much as 79%. But most importantly, it helps release your metabolic brakes, forcing your metabolism to awaken so you burn more fat faster. Next on the list is Cordyceps sinensis, also known as an anti-aging superfood and proven to support cardiovascular health and decrease inflammation. It supports healthy weight loss by neutralizing the effects of metabolic braking receptors. Then there's chaga, which is considered to be the king of spores and full of antioxidative power. It acts as an appetite suppressant that supports healthy eating and reduction of food cravings. Best of all, it has the ability to inhibit fat cell receptors while healing the body. Next, lion's mane, filled with vitamins, minerals, and beta-glucans, which help reduce stress levels, anxiety, and depression, all of which will keep fat cell receptors at bay. Then there's turkey's tail, which contains probiotics that feed the good bacteria in the gut and reduce damage caused by oxidative stress while supporting a healthy digestive system, energy, and vitality. Lastly, there's the classic white button mushroom, commonly found in any household, but important to the blend because it activates a healthy metabolism and helps support clearer mind and energy and lower stress levels. When I was done, I couldn't believe it. I had in my hands a clinically proven solution to target the root cause of my slow, inactive metabolism and to torch away nasty fat. Yet my own doctor in the entire medical industry never told me about it. All they wanted to do was tell me about more exercise, more diets, and medications. When I got home, I started right away. It took me weeks to find the suppliers of these exotic ingredients, not to mention the thousands of dollars in shipping fees to buy them. When they arrived, I painstakingly cleaned them, dried them under the open sun, pounded them in the pestle and mortar, and finally weighed them to get the right proportions according to Dr. Armstrong's notes. I was excited to try it, but still, I was a little skeptical. I thought I must be a little crazy, but by the grace of God, it worked fast. Just minutes after I started taking the mixture, I could feel the warmth of the real, powerful nutrition flowing through my body. The next morning, I had lost half an inch, but did not think much of it. But every morning that followed, as my metabolic brakes were released, my weight was dropping down, 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 and down. And before I had time to buy new jeans, 68 pounds of raw, ugly fat had melted off my belly, hips, thighs, and arms, like taking a blowtorch to butter. My cravings for sugary and junk food disappeared, and my metabolism became a hot, sizzling barbecue grill, all while I was still eating cake, pizza, chocolate, and my favorite foods. I'd fall asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow. I was sleeping deeper and woke up every morning refreshed with all-day energy. My skin was firm and radiant, my hair was healthy, my bloating and gas disappeared. My joints were lubricated and pain-free. I can now feel and see toned muscles around my belly, arms, and legs where my soft, squishy fat used to reside. The most amazing part was watching my stomach, watching the rolls of fat I used to grab in absolute disgust, the fat I've been fighting for years and years, quickly shrink away, and listening to the compliments from my family, my friends, and my colleagues at work, all who had given up hope on me, now begging me for my secret. But truthfully, I only cared about one person, my wife Tammy. Seeing her go from barely noticing her own husband to not being able to keep her hands off me, is what made it all worthwhile for me. Not only was Tammy back in love with me again and enjoying my new body, but she had rapidly dropped 32 pounds herself by using the same morning release. And the spark was back, and our marriage was stronger than ever. I felt so grateful and fortunate to finally experience what life should have been like, what I've been missing out on for so many years. I could mow the lawn, walk the dog, do my woodworking, and still have energy left over to throw the ball around with my children for hours. And God has now given me the responsibility to pay it forward and to share this weight loss formula with the world, especially the people most immune to diet and exercise. I called Dr. Armstrong and enlisted his help. He was more than happy to help out and even added more exotic ingredients that he had recently discovered. He told me that these additional nutrients will not only boost your metabolism even higher, but it will also improve your body's immunity. They include maitake, which is full of vitamins and antioxidants that supports healthy cholesterol levels and helps the body eliminate excess fat. Reishi, that supports good bacteria in the gut and helps in reducing body weight and preventing weight gain. Shiitake, which supports the release of fat cells in the body, especially in the liver. And wood ear, packed with fiber and antioxidants and protects your healthy liver, lowers cholesterol levels, and boosts gut health, all of which contribute to the release of your metabolic brakes and weight loss. So for the next 2 months, I worked closely with Dr. Armstrong and spent all of my waking hours sourcing all of the necessary nutrients in bulk form from the most vetted and trusted suppliers around the world. Next, I worked with one prestigious manufacturer after another, attempting to find a way to get everything that the metabolism releasing formula required into something super simple to take. And after scrutinizing 46 places, I finally found the most modern, top-tier manufacturing facility in the USA that cracked the code and managed to get everything into easy-to-swallow vegetarian capsules to be taken as